Hello, and welcome to my internship presentation. My name is Sara Maglov, and I have created this presentation to share a little bit about my internship journey while participating in the Educational Technology graduate program at Loyola University. This presentation will provide a brief overview of my internship, how the process connects to some of the program's key concepts, and shares my final reflections and future implications. Before we begin, I'd like to share a little bit about myself. I'm in my 9th year as a special education teacher within Baltimore County Public Schools. I have worked in a variety of regional programs, including FALS, CALS, and BLS, and I've also worked in inclusion classrooms. Currently, I'm a special education team leader where I serve as both the IEP chair and behavior interventionist at the elementary school level. For my internship, I wanted to provide professional development related to special education topics, including those listed here. After working in a variety of school settings, I noted there is almost always a need for more guidance when it comes to working with students performing below grade level standards. In my current position, I find I facilitate many student support teams where teachers voice concern for lack of academic progress, but have insufficient or improper data and have not had an opportunity to provide differentiation or accommodations because they're unsure of what's most appropriate. I wanted to create a course that would provide teachers with more ideas and empower them to make data-driven decisions to meet the needs of struggling learners. My internship had a number of objectives, and they are listed here. Overall, I wanted participants to reflect on their current practices and gain knowledge and skills they could readily use in the classroom. Some of the features of my course included a fully online asynchronous course that is pushed out to participants through Google Drive. The course consisted of 5 modules, each lasting 1 week, and all modules were written using the R2-D2 instructional model so that I was able to address a variety of learning styles and provide something for all participants every week. Many of the modules provided an opportunity for participants to collaborate with one another and gave the option of synchronous or asynchronous collaboration. Each week, participants used real data from their current students to develop ready-to-use interventions, plans, or lesson ideas. Once the idea for my internship was approved by my administration, I was tasked with presenting the course to my colleagues and garnering the attention of general education teachers so they would be motivated to participate. I opened my presentation with a brief Google survey to determine if our staff was in a position for change and to highlight the need for the course I had designed. The following slides outline the results. Of the 14 colleagues that responded, an overwhelming 85% shared they have students that are not meeting grade level standards and have no formal diagnosis or services provided. 13 teachers rated their confidence level. 1 was not confident at all, 5 being the most confident. As you can see, no participants were able to state they felt entirely confident addressing the needs of struggling learners, and 30% felt they were not confident at all. When considering how teachers use data to drive instruction for these learners, more than half do not feel confident in this process, which correlates to the observations I've been able to make through the student support team process. 63% of the responders indicated they do not feel confident during the SST process. Here, I prompted more and asked teachers why. I was able to learn that many teachers do not feel they can collect targeted data and can only speak to the data that goes directly into their gradebooks. This data tends to be very basic and can only demonstrate if students met or did not meet a standard, not necessarily why. The last question was included to provide a little comic relief, but also to highlight the incentive of the course. If teachers participated and worked through the modules, they may be asked to attend less meetings, and more time is every educator's dream. Here are some facts related to my actual internship. There were a total of 4 participants. This number was far less than I had hoped, but it was certainly better than none. There were 5 asynchronous sessions. I provided all of the materials at the start of the course to allow teachers to work at their own speed and work ahead if they desired, but had deadlines in place for the work so we were able to collaborate and talk to one another. In the end, 2 face-to-face sessions were added based on participant feedback and need. One session was to address technical difficulties with VoiceThread, and another was to wrap the course up and orally share our differentiated lesson plan ideas, because in the end, we ran out of time to complete and share them in an online format. Pictured here is one of our face-to-face sessions sharing our lesson plans. The work I completed throughout this internship process connected to many of the key concepts outlined by Loyola's Educational Technology program. I chose to highlight the following: 3.2, 8.1, 2.1, 12.1, and 13.2. Key concept 3.2 was demonstrated through my efforts to assist course participants with technical difficulties throughout the course. I specifically highlighted when participants had struggled to create and use VoiceThread accounts. As a result, I held an additional face-to-face session to walk them through the setup process and how to use the features within the website. I created a how-to document for quick reference as needed, and it is pictured here on the left. I was able to demonstrate this key concept through my internship proposal paper, which is linked in this slide. The first step in planning for this internship was to reflect on our current school needs and consider if we're in a position for change. After reflecting on my time as a special educator within Baltimore County, I was dissatisfied with the way in which general education teachers plan for students performing below grade level standards. A brief survey completed at the end of the 2017-2018 school year indicated an overwhelming number of general education teachers did not feel equipped to meet these needs, and furthermore, they desired a way to gather data to identify students for supports. Additionally, the survey I shared earlier in this presentation demonstrates how the staff was ready and looking to change the way they approach meeting the needs of struggling learners. I was able to demonstrate this key concept through the use of the R2D2 Read, Reflect, Display, and Do instructional design model for each of the 5 planned modules. In this way, I was able to address a variety of learning styles, so the modules were relevant to all participants. Course participants had access to readings, videos, personal reflection questions, collaborative assignments, written work, and visual creation tasks. The goal of this instructional design was to ensure there was something for everyone in each of the 5 weeks. I was able to demonstrate this key concept through the planning and development of my online facilitation plan, which I then adjusted to utilize as my internship. Throughout the planning process, I was mindful of what I have learned about online learning, as well as how adult learners want and prefer to learn. As I planned the online course, I was careful to include opportunities for self-driven learning that could be conducted in a time frame that suited my participants. Deadlines were flexible, and participants were given assignments ahead of time, so they were able to complete them during their own free time. I was able to demonstrate this key concept through the blog I kept throughout the internship process, and through my ability to adjust my course plans over time based on the needs of the participants, and what I gained through my own self-reflection. My reflections can be viewed through visiting my technology website, which I have also linked on this page. At the conclusion of my internship, I took some time to reflect on the process and to determine what went well, what perhaps could have been better, and how I would change the course and the process if given the opportunity to teach this again. There were a number of things that I felt went well during the internship. First, the planning process. I had a lot of opportunities to plan for adult learners, which was a new experience for me. I learned a lot about the instructional models and how to meet the needs of this learning group. Secondly, I worked hard to identify the need for change. Throughout this process, I learned a lot about what the teachers in my schoolhouse desire to be successful, and I will use this information in my position as a special education leader in my building. Lastly, I am very proud of the resources I was able to provide. Participants were given a wealth of readings, videos, and other resources through Google Drive that they can access outside of this course at any time. The reflection process also highlighted areas that require improvement. In reflecting, I realized I could have pared down the activities. I tried to accomplish a lot each week, and given the time frame, it would have been helpful to have them focus on 1 or 2 tasks each week so they were able to put forth more effort and attention. I also would have liked to have been able to provide more time. By the end, we were rushing to finish, and I cut a lot of what I thought were worthwhile activities. I would love the chance to teach this course again. I think our school is ready for this change, and it would be incredibly beneficial for students. If given the chance, I would begin this process earlier in the school year, just after the first quarter when teachers have had a chance to get to know and identify their students would be the perfect time. Teachers could gather and use real data that would drive instruction for the entire school year. I would also like to provide in-class feedback and observe teachers gathering data, planning, and even teaching small groups to lend more face-to-face support and feedback. I would also like to lengthen the timelines and adjust them more to meet the needs of my participants. And finally, I would work with Baltimore County Public Schools to ensure that I was able to provide professional development credits to participants. I really believe this would help me increase my participant numbers, which would in turn help more students in my building. Thank you for viewing my internship presentation. I would love your feedback. So if you have feedback or questions, please feel free to email me at the addresses listed here. Thank you.